Hey guys, it's Robyn, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back and welcome if you're new. Today I have got warm reviews for all 10 of the Spring Summer catalog new release scents. So I have warmed all 10 bars now and my opinions have changed quite a bit from the cold sniffs. I will say this batch, when I first did cold sniffs, seemed quite light to me. A couple of them were fairly light, but for the most part, these really blossomed on warm. So we will go through where I warmed them, how they did, so you might, and how they changed on warm as well. So you might decide what you might want to try and what you might want to skip. So we will go through them in the order that they're presented in the catalog, and then we will do a ranking at the end. So the first one is Barefoot Beach. This is a woodsy category bar. And this one has macadamia nut and island driftwood and coconut. So this one I really liked on cold, and that stayed the same on warm. This one is gorgeous. Now, when I first got this, I thought it smelled light. I do think possibly my bars were a little bit cold still when I sniffed them, because this does not smell light on cold anymore. It's a good solid medium. So because I thought it smelled light, I put 4 cubes, which is double the wax I normally use, in my bedroom. So I did 4 cubes in my bedroom. That was blow you out of the house strong. I would not recommend 4 cubes for a bedroom. I would recommend 2, and it was very strong. So this went a full 2 days. I think it was like going into 3 days, and then I was just like, I'm done with it, I'll take it out. But it went forever. I think if you did 2 cubes, it would probably last a day and a half, 2 days. But with 4, it lasted forever. And this was beautiful. Very much what you smell is what you get. There is like a bit of a perfumey tone here, but it is beautiful. It's this beautiful like suntan oil, coconut, beautiful, beautiful scent. A little bit body care, a lot of driftwood on warm. On warm, especially as the warm went on, the sweet notes here kind of dissipated over time, and what was left was this kind of really pretty driftwood type scent. It's beautiful, it's woodsy, it's warm. I really like this. This will be a definite repurchase for me. This is one that I think you could easily do in an open layout. I think it would be open layout worthy quite easily, because with the 4 cubes in my bedroom, this took over the whole house. Like, it was very strong. So I think this will be good for most open layouts. Yes, Barefoot Beach. I was a fan. Definitely a repurchase for me, and probably one I'll club at the end of the season. As far as things that are similar to it, it could be like a stronger cousin to Sun Castles. It's a bit more woodsy than Sun Castles, which I think makes it a better performer. It's a bit more perfumey than Sun Castles. And same with Kukui and Coconut. It's sweeter, more woodsy, and a bit more perfumey than Kukui and Coconut. But I think if you like either Kukui and Coconut or Sun Castles, you may enjoy this. I love this. This was one of my favorites of the bunch, Barefoot Beach. The next one we have here is Desert Twilight. This one is saguaro blossom, warm clay, and sandalwood. This one, I learned my lesson from Barefoot Beach. I did 2 cubes in the bedroom, did not double it to 4. So this is like a light medium on cold. So I almost did double it, but I didn't. It didn't need to be doubled. It was fine. A good solid medium with the 2 cubes, normal amount of wax. Yeah, this was pretty. It was very much what you smell is what you get. It was about a 24-hour scent, which is about an average duration. So yeah, average strength, average duration. Performance here was average. And again, I don't know if this would be open layout worthy or not. I think it would probably be okay in my open layout, but in a larger one, maybe not. But in the bedroom, it was great. This did seem like a very nice bedroom scent. You do get the nice warm sandalwood. It's not too woodsy. It's not too earthy. There is like a sweetness here. It must be like the cactus blossom, I'm not sure, or the clay. The clay here, I think, is lending a bit of a sweetness, actually. The clay here is not like a dirty, earthy clay at all. It's very, very pretty. So Desert Twilight, really liked. Performance, good, solid, average. And again, this would be a repurchase for me, Desert Twilight. One thing I will say is towards the very end of the warm, around 20 hours or so, there was a point where I walked in and I was like, it smells like green peppers. What is that? Because we didn't cook with green peppers. So I was like, what is that? And I think it was just something about the way this melded over time. I think it like went a little bit green peppery, like fresh green peppers. Yeah, I don't get that at all on cold, and I didn't get it for the vast majority of the warm either, but towards the very, very tail end, something here changed and went weird. Either way, I still really liked the scent, and I still would pick up more. Desert Twilight. That was a good one. And this one I think is probably best suited to July, August, like mid to late summer, for bedrooms. So Desert Twilight. That was a good one. And again, performance on that was about average. The next one we have here is Freshwater Sage. And this one is citrus zest, bergamot tea leaves, and marine musk. Now in this one, the tea really comes out. This was so lovely. So I did this in bathrooms, 1 cube in each of our bathrooms. It was so lovely. It was nice and strong. Strength here was great. Longevity, a little shorter than average, probably because of all the citrus notes here. This was less than 24 hours, I would say. I would say like 18 hours. Still, not bad. I do think this would be open layout worthy. It was quite strong, like a good 7 out of 10 strength, which probably means it would be okay in the open layout. And very crisp, very clean, very spa. And the tea really came out more on warm as well. It was like a citrus white tea. It was gorgeous. So I really liked Freshwater Sage. And this is also one that I would repurchase. This was really good. For a brief moment, I thought that the bergamot here might be going a little bit masculine, but it never really fully did. It kind of stayed, the tea really came out more, which was what I was hoping would happen. So I really liked Freshwater Sage. That will be a repurchase for me for sure. Really liked that one. The next one we have is Island Bloom. Now this one I thought might be able to do the open layout, so I did a full bar in the open layout. This one is Starfruit, Watermelon, and Island Palm. Now this one is kind of like the fruity floral of the bunch. Mostly fruity. I loved this one on cold. It was my very favorite on cold. And I still liked it on warm, and it was very much what you smell is what you get. This one probably changed like the least on warm. This one stayed very consistent to what it smelled like on cold. Strength-wise, it wasn't the best. I wouldn't do this in an open layout any bigger than mine, and I wouldn't do this if you're gonna have air conditioner on or any kind of windows open. I don't think it'll work. I think it needs to be done in bedrooms if that's the case. But with my house all closed up in the winter, it worked okay. Like it was like a light medium in the open layout and like less than 12 hours. It was not a super long lasting scent and not a super strong performer. But Island Bloom, I would repurchase again because I love the scent, but I would do it in bedrooms if you have a harder to scent space. So that is Island Bloom. Really lovely. If you remember Aloha Orchid from, was it 2 summers ago? It's got the same fruity profile, but Aloha Orchid had a real sharp perfumey or floral note to it that this one does not have. So I liked a lot about Aloha Orchid, but my family couldn't stand it because it was just so floral. And this one is the same fruitiness without the floral, if that makes sense. So Island Bloom, my whole family liked. Will be a repurchase for us, but I would probably say in the summer I will melt this in bedrooms only. So that was Island Bloom. The next one we have here is probably my least favorite of the bunch. This is Italian Sunshine. Not my least favorite. Italian Sunshine. We have Italian Bergamot, Sun-Kissed Coconut, Sweet Berries, and Warm Amber. So this one, for me, on cold and warm, the amber steals the show. The amber overtakes all other notes, and it's a strong floral amber scent. So I did 2 cubes of this in my office. And it's a good performer, I will give it that. This would be open layout worthy if you enjoy the scent, for sure. It's also very long lasting. Now the one benefit of that amber is that it does hang on for a long time. On cold, you can smell all the notes. On warm, for the first little while, you can get a little bit of that coconut milk. You can get a little bit of fruitiness, and you can get a lot of amber. After a few hours, the fruity notes kind of are gone, and then you're left with this very floral amber scent, and it's almost indistinguishable at that point from something like I Pick You from the Valentine's collection a couple years ago, which was a strong floral amber. This is a perfumey floral amber once it's been in the warmer for a few hours. Now that said, if you like that, this is a very good performer. So that's Italian Sunshine. Whoops. For me, not a repurchase. I don't particularly care for it. It's just headachy to me. It just is too floral, too amber, too headachy. So for me, Italian Sunshine is a pass, but it is a very good performer if you like that type of scent. Okay, prize for the biggest surprise goes to Ocean Shimmer. This one is Capri Lemon, Blue Musk, and Sea Spray. Now this one, when I did my cold sniffs, I said you could barely smell this at all. It was about as strong as it is when you take your wax out of the warmers when it's finished. That's about how strong Ocean Shimmer was on cold. It was so, so weak. And it's still very, very light in the bar. Like, very light. Relatively inoffensive aquatic scent. Now, in the dish, this one came alive. I did 2 cubes in my office. This went for a good, like, 4 or 5 days. It went for ages and ages. I finally took it out. It was still going at, like, a light strength after 5 days. And I gave up and put something else in because it was just time to change it. But this one is basically eternal. This is another one kind of like Peaks and Pines, where it's not quite as strong as Peaks and Pines, but it's eternal. Like, it does not end. It is a everlasting bar. So Ocean Shimmer. For me, it's okay. The scent appeal here is just okay for me, and it's very much what you smell is what you get. It is a inoffensive, kind of simple aquatic scent. I can't say I really get a whole lot of lemon here. Yeah, it's just kind of a classic watery sea mineral aquatic type scent. It's okay. But if you're looking for a long-lasting scent, this would be good for something like a bathroom where you want to just change your wax once a week. Ocean Shimmer would be the ticket because this one will last a very, very long time in the warmer. And again, very inoffensive aquatic scent. So Ocean Shimmer, excellent performer for longevity. Strength impressed me too. Like, the strength on this one I would have said would be a light to light medium max. It was strong initially. For like the first 3 days, it was strong, I would say. And then by like the 5th day, I would say it was light to light medium. But it took days to get there. Like, it was a great performer. So Ocean Shimmer, if you like a strong, long-lasting bar, I would recommend Ocean Shimmer. Don't expect to be blown away by its uniqueness or anything, because I wouldn't say it's terribly unique or anything you haven't smelled before. But it's pleasant, it's aquatic. If you like aquatic fresh scents, I think this one is a good bet to try, Ocean Shimmer. For me, not a repurchase. It just doesn't excite me enough and I have enough wax. So for me, I'll enjoy the rest of this bar, but I will not repurchase. But I would recommend for anyone who likes a long-lasting, strong scent, and if you like aquatic scents. The next one we have here is Pearlescent Coast. This one is in the floral category, which I would disagree with. This is lotus blossom, bamboo, and apricot musk. Now this one, I did in 3 spaces. I did it in each of our bathrooms and in the laundry room as well, so 3 different rooms. This one changed probably the most, and it went through phases. So this one was about a 24-hour longevity, about a medium strength. So performance on average the performance overall was average, I would say. This one, however, when you first put it in, you get almost like a fruity note. It says apricot musk. I would not say apricot. I would have said pineapple. It reminded me a lot of the pineapple that was in the scent of the month a couple years ago, Pacific Mist. That one had pineapple. This has the same fruity note, kind of like a pineapple nectar type note. So there's that. There's like a sweet fruity note, along with this kind of Calgon aquatic type scent, very classic Calgon aquatic type scent. That's the initial phase. That burns off within a few hours, and then it's very different. Then it becomes extremely similar to one that we've had before, and it's got this ocean air and coconut water is what I'm talking about. It becomes very similar to ocean air and coconut water for a good amount of time. Something about, is there coconut? There's no coconut in here, but there is coconut in here. It's not in the notes, but there is somewhere in here. You don't get it on cold, you don't get it initially, but somewhere after like the 4 or 5 hour mark, you get something very similar to a coconut air and ocean air and coconut water. That's what it was. It's like a sweet fresh air note, along with this kind of like watery coconut, fresh, cozy, clean is what I would say. So that's what Pearlescent Coast is. It starts out kind of like a fruity aquatic. It turns into a more fresh, cozy, clean aquatic, and then it goes back to more of like a basic aquatic at the very end. It loses that ocean air and coconut water resemblance towards the end, and it's just kind of like a more basic aquatic scent, again without the fruity tones that you get initially. So this one goes through 3 different distinct phases, at least in my house. It was kind of fun. If I didn't have ocean air and coconut water in my Scentsy club, I might consider buying more of this. But ocean air and coconut water was a much stronger performer for me and a much longer lasting performer. This one, like I said, was about average. Average length, average duration, average strength, average duration. And for me, while I liked it, it's not one that I would repurchase. I think if you like fruity aquatic scents, this is one you should definitely pick up. especially if you do not have access to ocean air and coconut water and you miss that one. This will be your next best thing. And again, don't judge it by cold sniff because it doesn't get there till a few hours in. But Pearlescent Coast, I think, is worth picking up for most people, especially if you like fresh, fruity summer type scents. This is one of those. It is very pleasant. I think a lot of people will really like this. And again, performance was average. So I think well worth picking up for a lot of folks. For me, it won't be a repurchase, but I will enjoy the rest of what I have. Okay, the next one we have here is Sweet Lime and Peach. This one is fresh lime and garden mint, add zest to ever sweet peach blossom. Now this is in the fruity category and I could not disagree more. This should be in the fresh category in my opinion. I did 2 cubes of this in my office and this one went for 24 hours because I couldn't stand it any longer and I had to take it out. This one went from the middle of the pack to me to the very, very bottom of the pack. This would be by far my least favorite of the 10 new releases and it's not one that I care for or will purchase again. So this one, on cold, it's kind of a nice green mint, and I do like a green mint, like a leafy mint I'm on board with. And so that is what you get, but there is a little bit of sweetness here on the bar. On warm, this one really leans hard into the green, leafy, sharp area. I would say that green leafy mint went extremely sharp, extremely fast, and stayed there. It stayed very, very sharp. I would say astringent, sharp. I got no fruit whatsoever. I did get almost an aquatic tone after a while. I would say it went like aquatic more than anything. So you do have to like mint for this one and like a fresh garden mint. The lime, I never really got anything fruity here. Like when I think lime, I think citrusy. And I never really got citrus here. I got like a very bitter, sharp green scent that to my nose was very, very unpleasant. I did not care for it. Every time I walked in there, I was like, ooh. So just not for me. I think you could mix with this. I think this would probably mix really nicely with something sweeter like key lime and grapefruit. I think if you mixed that with this, it would be really good. I think if you did peach and grapefruit mimosa, that's going to be in the catalog March 1st, with this, that would be really good. Anything really sweet and fruity, I think would mix well with this. But on its own, I can't get behind this one. So I will keep it for mixing, but it's just not for me. So not a repurchase for me. That is the Sweet Lime and Peach. I think the name is also going to confuse people because Sweet Lime and Peach is in here. For one thing, I got no iota of peach anywhere at any point in the warm, on cold or warm. Sweet Lime, I would not say it is sweet lime. There's nothing sweet about this scent, cold or warm. This is a kind of bitter, fresh, green, sharp scent. I would not categorize it as sweet in any way. So if you're looking for kind of like a very clean mint, this would be that. I think again, you could mix this with a lot of things to make it, you know, like a cocktail type mixer. But on its own, it's very green, like very green, very sharp. And to my nose, just not my thing. Performance though, at least average. Again, I would say strong. I think this would be open layout worthy if you wanted it to be. And as for longevity, at least 24 hours. It probably could have done 2 days. I just took it out at 24 hours because I could not anymore with this one. So that was Sweet Lime and Peach. Not a repurchase for me, but again, performance was pretty respectable. So that is Sweet Lime and Peach. The next one we have here is Sweet Pea and Freesia. This is in the floral category. I would agree with that. This is Sweet Pea, Colorful Freesia, and Rose Water. Now this one is a classic floral. It is one that I did in each of our bathrooms and in the laundry room, so 3 cubes total. And this one is, again, it's very floral. It was nice in the bathrooms. I would not personally melt it anywhere else, not because of the strength. I think it could do bedrooms. I think this could even do an open layout if you wanted it to. For me, it's just very, very, very floral and a scent I can only handle in small doses. So for that reason, bathrooms is kind of a good place for it in my home. This one is one of those ones that is floral in a perfumey rose water type way. When you think of like, I don't know, like a very classic like body mist that maybe would be from like the 1940s, like a rose water mist or something like that. This is kind of like that in like a perfumey rose type of way. It was one of those ones where you walk into the room and you can taste it. Like it's one of those ones, and I don't care for that myself. But yeah, you would walk in and you're like, okay, it's very floral. It's very, very floral, perfumey. You can taste it. So I don't know. It wasn't for me. Performance was fine. 24 hours, about 24 hours. Good solid medium strength. Like performance here was good. It was not light in any stretch of the imagination. Again, I think it could do an open layout if you wanted it to. It would do a bedroom very nicely. But you have to like floral, and you have to like pure, unadulterated floral, like old-fashioned floral. This is not for me. I will not be able to melt the rest of this. This is just not going to be for me. So I will be giving this away to a family member who I know loves this type of scent. My mom loves these type of florals. She will enjoy this. I will not. So that is Sweet Pea and Freesia. You have to like rose, and you have to like a very traditional classic floral for that one. But if you do like those, this is a very nice performer. That is Sweet Pea and Freesia. The next one here is the last one. It is Wild for Wildflowers. It's in the citrus category, which I would agree with. This is Bright Yuzu, Juicy Tangerine, Sweet Lychee, and Wildflowers. Now, this one reminds me a lot of one we've had before. I will describe it just in case you haven't smelled this other one. It reminds me a lot of Simply the Zest from our, was it Valentine's or Easter collection a couple years ago. This is a lovely, bright, punchy citrus. It's juicy, it's cheek puckery, it's a really, really bright, tart, but also sweet citrus. It also reminds me a lot of our dearly departed Be Fabulous, which was, I think, limoncello. Yeah, this is a great citrus. Like, if you like citrus, I strongly recommend Wild for Wildflowers. I didn't really get a whole lot in the way of wildflowers. I would say there's something here besides citrus, but I couldn't tell you what. It's not like you would identify it as floral. So if you're afraid of florals, do not fear Wild for Wildflowers. So this one I did a full bar in the open layout. It was a day where Ben here had an accident, which is an understatement for what actually took place. It was a day. So that had happened, and we needed to fix the scent situation in here real fast. So Wild for Wildflowers came in, and we did the full bar in the open layout. This did actually take care of that. It did some heavy lifting. So Wild for Wildflowers, good strong performer, 7-ish out of 10 strength. It went at that strength for like 12 hours. By the next day, it was mostly gone. So I would say like 18 hours probably for Wild for Wildflowers. Not quite as long as average, but citrus scents tend to be a little bit shorter. But strength was great and open layout worthy for sure. So Wild for Wildflowers, I would recommend strongly. I think almost everyone's gonna like this. I can't see many folks not. Unless you dislike citrus quite intensely, I think Wild for Wildflowers is one you should pick up because most people do enjoy citrus, and I think this is gonna be one that most people do enjoy. So that was a good one. Performance was great, and it saved the day for us. So Wild for Wildflowers will be repurchased for sure. Okay, so if I had to go through and rank these new releases, this is going to be very subjective because this is just my opinion based on my scent preferences and how these performed in my house. So if I had to go through and rank these, 10th place is going to go to Sweet Lime and Peach. I didn't care for the scent. The performance was very good, but the scent here for me was just too sharp, too green, too bitter. So that is number 10 for me. Again, no complaints of performance there. And I think if you do like green, like fresh green leafy type scents, you will enjoy that. For me, it was just a no. Sweet Pea and Freesia, again, this is going to have a crowd that loves it. For me, it was just too perfumey, too floral. Sweet Pea and Freesia. Again, the performance on this one was actually quite respectable. Just not for me scent-wise. Italian Sunshine, I think this will actually be a favorite of many. Italian Sunshine. This one is very on trend. Like, I feel like this smells like a lot of like body care stuff that's popular right now. It's just a little bit too perfumey for me. I wouldn't mind this in a body spray or a body lotion, but I don't want my house to smell like this. It's just too much. A little bit suffocating. Extremely good performer though. So Italian Sunshine, if you want a very summery, like summery perfumey type scent for your open layout, this will do it. So Italian Sunshine. In 7th place, we have Ocean Shimmer. This one surprised me a great deal as far as the strength and the longevity. So the performance made it go up in my rankings a bit. I think I had this ranked quite a bit lower before. So it's gone up in my rankings. It's not a repurchase though, just because it is kind of one of those very aquatic scents. If you like aquatic scents and those very fresh oceany scents, you have to try this one. It's a fantastic performer. Very, very nice that way. And I will enjoy the rest of this very much. Like, this is probably not going to be a repurchase, but this will last me a long time. Like again, this is a good bang for your buck bar because 2 cubes lasted 5 days. It's a very good bang for your buck bar. So 1 bar will last a very long time. So Ocean Shimmer, was happier than I thought with that one. Pearlescent Coast. This one went through several distinct phases, which I always think is kind of fun. And this is going to be number 6 for me. Kind of middle of the packish. It was all right. It was fruity. It was fresh. It was a little bit of everything. It was aquatic. A little bit of everything. I don't think it smells like what the description says it is, and I wouldn't categorize this as floral at all. So if you see this in the floral category and it gives you pause, this is very much a fruity, fresh scent to my nose. I don't really detect much floral here at all, especially not on warm. So Pearlescent Coast, liked that one. And again, performance on that was at least average, so nothing wrong with that. And 5th place, firm middle of the pack, Desert Twilight. And I think this went down in my rankings a little bit. I think I had it ranked higher before. And it's not that I like this less now, it's that a couple of the other ones impressed me so much that they had to go up. So Desert Twilight's taking up 5th. Also, it did have that weird kind of green pepper tone at the very, very end of the warm. So there's that. But overall, I really enjoyed this. Performance was at least average. And again, very nice bedroom scent. I do think one limitation of this scent is that it does smell very much bedroom specific and very much like a very specific time of the year. Like late summer is specifically when I would warm this. And I can't see myself reaching for it any other time. So Desert Twilight, that is the limitation there, but it's beautiful and I would highly recommend it. So Desert Twilight. The next one here in 4th place is Island Bloom. This one went from 1st to 4th. And for me, that's because of performance. The strength or the scent of this one is top-notch, top-tier, high appeal. Lovely. The strength was less than I hoped, and the longevity was also less than I hoped. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't as strong as I need it to be. I would say if you're going to try Island Bloom, I would strongly encourage you to try this in bedrooms first and see how it does there. I think it'll be much better in bedrooms. So this one, highly recommend, but I would say smaller spaces only. Island Bloom. In 3rd place, we have Freshwater Sage. This one impressed me more than I expected it to. I think this was kind of like a middle of the pack bar for me before on cold. On warm, it's gone up in my approximations, and I like it a lot. This is a little different from anything I've tried from Scentsy before. It smells fancy, it smells spa-like, and it was also a very good performer. Nice and strong. The tea came out a lot on warm. I really, really liked this one. So Freshwater Sage, I would strongly encourage you to try if you want something a little bit different and something that smells kind of like a fancy hotel spa or something like that. So Freshwater Sage. In 2nd place, we have Wildflowers. This one is a classic citrus scent. I think most people will enjoy this, and it was more or less average performance. It was stronger than average, not quite as long lasting as average. So you had a bit of a trade-off there. You trade some longevity for extra strength, but overall, more or less average. And the scent appeal here is great. I love this. Nice citrus scent. I think most people will enjoy this, and I really, really liked it. That will be a repurchase for me for sure. Wildflowers. And then in 1st place, Barefoot Beach blew me away. I love this one. My favorite of the bunch. And I think I had this in 2nd place last time with Island Bloom in 1st. So Island Bloom dropped significantly and Barefoot Beach took its 1st place. This is fantastic. This is perfect summer and crazy strong, like way stronger than I expected it to be. I would not recommend doubling your wax here at all. Actually, with none of these. I don't think you need to double your wax with any of these, actually. So now that I've warmed them all, I think I would keep it at your regular amount of wax for everything, which in my house is open layout, full bar, bedrooms, 2 cubes. So that is what I would do here with Barefoot Beach as well. And I think this would be extremely open layout worthy. So that is my 1st place. If I had to tell you which ones I think would be okay for an open layout, Barefoot Beach, 100% any open layout, even the large ones. Wildflowers would be fine for most open layouts, I think. Freshwater Sage, I think would be fine for most open layouts. Island Bloom, not. Desert Twilight, probably not. Pearlescent Coast, maybe if you have a smaller open layout. I would not say for the very largest. Ocean Shimmer, you know, I think it might. I think you might be able to get away with Ocean Shimmer in an open layout. I think you might, because it smells light on cold, but it's not light on warm. This one was very, very strong on warm. So I think you probably could, especially in a small to medium sized open layout, get away with Ocean Shimmer. Italian Sunshine, any open layout could do this. That's a very strong one. Sweet Pea and Freesia, I think this could do an open layout if you wanted it to as well. Sweet Lime and Peach, I think definitely could. So as far as strength, these are actually much better than expected. Usually in a batch this size, you'll get 3 or 4 that are open layout worthy. Where in this bunch, I'm gonna say 5 are any open layout, any large space. Sweet Lime and Peach, Barefoot Beach, Wildflowers, Freshwater Sage, or Italian Sunshine. I think those will do any open layout, any large space. The ones that are maybe for like a smaller open layout, Sweet Pea and Freesia, Ocean Shimmer, Pearlescent Coast. And then the ones I would not recommend for an open layout are just Island Bloom and Desert Twilight, those two. I would say probably bedrooms only. And again, it did kind of work in my open layout with Island Bloom, but not ideally. So 8 out of 10 isn't bad. So for good strength, 8 out of 10 is pretty good. And especially, this is especially impressive given that they were so light when I first sniffed these. Performance actually pleasantly surprised me. As far as bars that I will personally repurchase, there are 5. Desert Twilight will be a repurchase for me. Freshwater Sage will be one I keep on hand always. Island Bloom is definitely going to be a repurchase. I really love the scent of that one. Wildflowers, love this one as well. And Barefoot Beach is one I will club at the end of the season for sure. So 5 out of 10 are ones that I will definitely repurchase. And the other ones I mostly enjoyed. There's a few there that just weren't for me, but I can't say any of these were bad bars. Like even the ones that aren't for me, I can see the audience for Sweet Pea and Freesia. Like I know this is a good, well done scent. It's not for me, but for anyone who likes these kinds of florals, this will be a beautiful floral scent. Performance was great. It's a well done scent in that you can smell the rose water. You get a bit of like a, almost like body lotion type note here, like a rose lotion. It's pleasant. Not for me, but it's pleasant. Sweet Lime and Peach. Again, I quite liked this on cold. It got too much for me on warm. I can mix with this to make this one work though. This one has potential. I think this will have an audience as well. Italian Sunshine. This isn't my cup of tea, but this one I think will be a favorite of many. This one I think will probably be one of the best sellers of the 10 new releases. And again, great performer. Great performer. Just a bit too much amber for me personally. But I can see the appeal of this one. It smells very on trend, very strong. I think this will be a hit for most people. So that is my thoughts on the 10 new releases. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below if you've smelled these or warmed any of them. And if you haven't tried any of them yet, which ones are you most excited to try on March 1st? I would love to hear in the comments below. Hope that was helpful. I will talk to you in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.